Hey y'all. So the other day I made a post, right? And I made a post and I was talking about when I was younger and how I didn't smile because I had a gap in my teeth. And so I'm going to tell you the testimony because I have so many testimonies. God has done so many amazing things. And I have made testimonies and I have typed them up and I have done videos with testimonies and they were all on that page that got banned. So many of you guys are new and you have no idea what happened and you don't know the hand of God and how he moved in my life. And so I'm going to tell you about what happened when God fixed my teeth. And so here we go. So basically, when I was a kid, I had a gap in my teeth. Now, I know a lot of people like gaps in their teeth. Now, if I would have known that then, the stuff that I know now, I think I would have kept it because that's something that, that my father had and that my younger brother has. And so I didn't like mine because in school, a couple of times I got teased about the gap in my teeth. So then I stopped smiling with my teeth. I would smile with my mouth closed. Many of you with teeth issues or that have teeth that are not so great know what I'm talking about. So I used to smile with my mouth closed and I hated my smile. I did not look right in pictures. I looked weird because when you don't smile fully, it's just not a good look. So I didn't like to talk to people in their eyes and that kind of thing. So we all know that the enemy uses the thing that you are insecure about, and he will use that because that is the thing that you're going to have the most impact with. So understand that. So that's what he uses. So basically, when I was a kid, I didn't smile in any pictures. When I was in high school, I didn't smile. In my 20s, we could not afford braces. When I was a teenager, we could not afford braces. I didn't even know nothing about that. I knew a kid in my high school a kid in my grammar school had braces. But I didn't really know children in that area because, again, I was raised on the west side of Chicago. It was a very impoverished neighborhood. We had a lot of vacant lots, a lot of broken glass, a lot of dead animals, all kinds of foolishness. So that is where I was raised. So no, I did not have braces. Nobody in my family had braces. And so I did have a gap in my teeth my entire life. And so I came to Christ in my 20s. I'll probably make a testimony about that. That'll be a little bit longer. I'm trying to talk fast because I just need to get this out without it being too long. I'm trying to be mindful of your time. And so what happened was I was in my 20s and I got born again. And one day I was sitting at home on the couch. I had just lost my job. A month prior. I had just gotten fired. And I'm always excited about getting fired back in the day when I had a job because it was like God was sending me somewhere else. Now that I know why I got fired, it's not a negative thing. God was getting me where I was supposed to be. So basically, I got fired a month before. So I got fired from my job. So I did not have health insurance. I didn't have nothing. I was in my 20s. And so I'm laying on the couch and I was watching a minister on television. And he said something about God knows the desires of your heart. You just ask him for it. And that was it. And I just thought that was crazy because I had never really heard that before. And I didn't know anything about praying for those kind of things or praying for God to do anything for you. I didn't know it. And so when he said that, I very flippantly said, Lord, I just want a pretty smile. I don't want anything else. I just want a pretty smile. And I just left it at that. I didn't think anything of it. About a week passed. I'm laying on the couch. I'm watching Maury Povich or whatever. I don't know what was on. So I was watching something. And so I was eating a bag of microwave popcorn. So I throw a handful in my mouth, a kernel that did not cook. I bit down on it and I felt a pain. It shot up the side of my head and down my neck. And I was like, oh my God. And I spit the kernel out and it was a kernel, but it was also a tooth. And so I felt back there and I could feel the pain every time I opened my mouth. The air just kind of shot up my head and down my throat. And I was, oh my God, it was the worst pain ever. I have a sister. My oldest sister's name is Lori. So I called Lori and I was like, Lori worked at a dental office. So I called Lori and I said, hey, I think I broke a tooth. I was eating some popcorn. My tooth broke, blah, blah, blah. So she said, okay, I'm going to call the dentist, or she said she would speak to him when she got in to work the next day to just put some cotton back there. So I put some cotton back there and I thought about the prayer that I prayed and I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't have said anything. I thought, oh my God, I just prayed this and now I have the opposite. I got a broken tooth. I had never had dental issues. I had never really even been to a dentist, so I didn't know. So Lori called the dentist, or she went into work and she spoke to him. So she called me and she said, okay, he can see you today at 2:30. if you have time to come in. Well, I didn't have a job, so I said, okay. So then I went in to see him. His name is Dr. Brundage, Dr. Miles Brundage, and that was his dental practice. And he was an older man, probably in his 60s or so. And so he was looking at my teeth. He said, okay, Kim, I got good news and I have bad news. And I was thinking, oh my God, I just was not ready to hear any bad news. I just wasn't ready. And so he said, okay, so now, the bad news is that you have a broken tooth and I would need to pull it out. If I pull it out, it's only $25, okay? If I save the tooth, I have to put a crown on it and do a root canal. Lori tells me that you just lost your job and you don't have any insurance. I said, I do not have any insurance. And I said, so I guess you have to pull, the tooth. And he said, well, that was the good news, that it's only the $25. He said, but if I completely pull it out, all the rest of your teeth are going to shift back. So this gap you have in the front here is going to get bigger and the rest of the teeth are going to be crooked. Oh my God, I couldn't stop myself from crying. I still remember it. I still had the little paper bib on laying back in the chair and I felt the tears. I felt the heat crawling up my neck and I felt that heat and I was trying to choke back tears. And he said, okay. So he pulled his mask down. He said, okay, a lot of times I do work for free. He said, I do work for free for people that need help and that kind of thing. He said, so I will do your root canal for free. Okay. I will just do that for free. I'll do the crown for free and everything. Just go up front and schedule it with Lori. And I said, okay, so if I get a crown, what? He said, so if I crown the tooth, that's going to hold everything in place. Nothing else is going to shift. Thank God. I was like, okay, great. Yes. I will do this. So he said he would do it for free. And I said, oh my God, thank you so much. So I thanked him so much. And so I went up front to my sister. She was sitting at the desk and I said, hey, Dr. Brundage said that he will give me a crown and he will do the root canal for free. And she was like, what? She didn't even believe me. She goes back to ask him like I would lie. Anyway, so she scheduled it for a couple days later. So I came in a couple days later and he did the root canal and he did the crown and I still have that crown there. You can see it, it's the crown there. So I still have the crown. So then he's about to take off the paper bib. So he said to me, have you ever considered getting the gap in your teeth fixed? And I said, yeah, I just prayed about that. I said, but, yeah, I just can't now. I don't have a job. I don't have any insurance. This is not at the top of the list, but thank you so much. And I was just so thankful. I was just, oh, thank you so much. And I think I was crying. And he said, well, a lot of times I do work for free. And I was looking at him and I'm thinking, is this man about to say what I think he's about to say? And he said, so if you want braces, I will do your braces for free, just like I did the root canal. And I said, oh no, I cannot take that. Now here's the key. Giving and receiving is one action. And so many of us love to give because it makes us feel good, but we don't like to receive. I've always been a giver, but I've never liked to receive. When people even offer, I have people on this app that offer to send me money all the time. And a lot of times I have a need and I never accept it. And God had to get on me about that because if he sends help, that means that person wants to feel good too. And they also want to sow that seed into your life. Let them do it if they want to do it, if I led them to do it. And so I had to shut up and just receive. So I was laying in that dental chair and those tears started rolling. I'm trying to choke them back now. Those tears started rolling. And he said, so just go up front and schedule. And Lori will schedule it for you. And we're going to get your braces done. So I scheduled. And a month later, I had metal braces on. And he put the rubber bands on and he tightened them. And for a whole year, this man, I booked appointments and he did not charge me a thin cent. Not for the root canal, not for the crown, not for the braces. He did all of the work for absolutely nothing. And he tightened the teeth and anything that needed to be done. And then he would schedule me. He would have me scheduled to do a deep clean every other month. So I was getting a deep clean. I was getting braces, all that for free. I did not have an ounce of insurance. God works best in complete darkness and famine. He is, I'm telling you, he will get it done. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be excited. So anyway, so he did the braces. So after about a year and a half to 2 years. Now, this happened when I was 30. So after about 2 years, it was time to take the braces off. So after the braces came off, I said, so now what? Are they going to stay this way? He said, well, no, they are adult teeth. So you're going to have to get permanent wires behind the top and the bottom. I said, well, where do I go to get those? And he said, well, Kimberly, of course, I am going to do them. And so I have permanent retaining wires behind the bottom and the top. And I got those when I was 30, and I will be 50 in about 40 something days. So that is my story of how I got braces and how I got the smile of my life. And so I love to share that story because what happened was I broke my tooth, and that was not meant for my bad. It was meant for my good. God was basically saying, okay, I need to get you in front of a man that is going to do this work for free. And that's what he did. And so many times we pray and we ask God to do a miracle, but then we want to tell him how to do the miracle, and we want to tell him where to do it and that kind of thing. You cannot. Once you pray for God to do something, trust that he knows how to do it. He has a million ways to do it. God could have straightened my teeth while I was asleep at night, but that's not what he did. What he did was something that was meant for bad, he turned it around for good. And so my teeth got fixed when I was 30 years old by Dr. Miles Brundage, who actually died about 5 or 6 years ago. I made a wonderful blog about him. He was such a nice man. And that man, after he did that, his practice got so big that he had to add 4 more dental people, like dentists, and then he added some extra people working. It got really big, and I just believe that that was God blessing him for what he did. And so I just want to encourage you, if you are wanting something from God, if you are expecting something from God, let God be God. God knows how to do the miracle. He does not need you to tell him how. He does not need you to tell him how. Because I know, I'm telling you right now, my teeth got fixed because I trusted God. And that's it. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Sorry to keep you so long. You guys enjoy your day. Thank you.